Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Pony 411. This is episode 202 for the week of October 22nd, 2017. I am Nemesis and I am joined, as always, by Alca7raz. Yes. We're kind of light on news this week.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah, there's a couple important things in there you probably should pay attention to.
Yeah.
We also have a new episode to talk about and quite a bit of fan content, actually.
Yes.
Surprising amount. Some of it I was not expecting.
Yes.
But,
otherwise, this week's been kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I finally got the Sunset Sushi Equestria Girl movie.
Oh, yes,
finally.
that did show up.
Yeah, that show up. Finally, I was able to knock out a review. Hopefully, that'll be up in the next few days. You'll see it soon.
Yes.
And beyond that...
Toys.
Yeah, I got a bunch of toys.
Basically...
I also got a new expensive toy.
Yes.
A phone.
A new phone. I'm still waiting for one of mine to show up.
Aw.
13th through the 30th, it should show up sometime between then. It's like, really?
Oh, you want your Kyoko.
Shush.
You're doomed. You're doomed.
It's your fault. It's all your
fault. You're already going down that rabbit hole. It's too late for you.
This is all your fault. Everything is your fault.
And I take the blame proudly on that one. Anyway, probably should move on and actually do the news.
Yes.
If you want to follow along, again, we said it was important. Go to pony411.libsyn.com/show notes. It's spelled Libsyn. So, to get started with conventions, Japan PonyCon is getting an exclusive cover for the Japanese release of Volume 1 of the Friendship is Magic comic.
It's really good looking.
Yeah, it's only 200 copies, though.
Yes. I think, does it actually have the PonyCon mascot, too? Japan PonyCon. It's got Ponyco.
Check that. I believe, yes, it does.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's actually based on an actual piece of art.
Yeah, it's actually based on that. His old cover, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, only 200 copies and it's in Japan, so good luck.
Good luck.
Also, you can't read it anyway, but unless you know Japanese, which is okay. But anyway, fandom and other news. Brony Study is doing another survey.
Yay, surveys.
Yep. Not sure what it's
for, surveys.
They're doing it. It's open. Go check that out if you want to participate. Merchandise news. A bunch of Amazon listings have been updated with high-resolution images of the products. Stuff like more Sea Ponies brushables, the All About brushables, particularly Songbird Serenade, more Baby Hippogriffs, all that. Capper and Rarity. Pinky and Princess Skystar. Twilight and Songbird. Wait. Oh, well. Yeah,
and then Dash in herself.
Yeah, all that stuff. Check that out. You know, if you're interested in any of those.
Sea Pony stuff.
It appears a new type of Equestria Girls toy is coming, sort of, maybe. The Polish MLP Instagram posted an odd-looking Pinkie Pie.
Odd-looking Pinkie Pie.
Yeah,
that is kind of odd-looking.
There's the worry that it's a new mini, which is like, please don't. The other speculation might be it's actually Equestria Girls blind bags are coming, possibly.
Could be. It's kind of hard to tell just by that one image.
Yeah, because if that's the new minis, that means they just decided to give up on articulation entirely, which would disappoint me quite a bit.
That would disappoint me.
So hopefully it's not a new mini, but it's definitely something.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the speculation, which is it is a new blind bag.
That would be the better option.
Yeah. And the Tales of Equestria RPG is getting a movie expansion.
Yay.
Yep, movie stuff. So if you play that game at all, probably should check that out. Comic news. IDW has released their January 2018 comic solicitations. And Friendship is Magic number 62. Canterlot is on the verge of being given to the Griffins.
What?
Twilight, Raven, and others will have to act fast to save the seat of pony royalty.
Raven?
Yes, Raven.
Raven.
Yep. Celestia's assistant.
Right.
Yep. And, yes, there's another cover, which is not an initial post, which is based on, the Saturday Evening Post by Andy Price. An old issue, a copy of that from,
Yep,
from March 6, 1948. Wow. Weird, very strange reference, but sure.
I think Andy likes doing those references.
Yeah, I know.
He likes referencing old stuff.
And the other issue coming out, Legends of Magic number 10. New dangers plague the legendary ponies, but with the help of a new member, they may be able to overcome the odds long enough to meet their true foe.
The real enemy was inside you all.
Man is the real monster.
In
Equestria Girls news, the Equestria Girls YouTube series got a trailer along with a premiere date of November 17th.
Yeah.
45 episodes. But
Yeah.
they're shorter, not full-length 22 minutes.
Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of really short YouTube episodes.
Well, we don't know how long exactly, but we just know they're shorter than 22.
Yeah.
I would suspect 7 to 11 minutes each.
Like half episodes.
Yeah, more or less. We'll see that they're supposed to come out weekly every Friday starting on the 17th of November. So we'll see how we'll handle that in the podcast when we get there.
If they're only like 7 to 11 minute shorts, we should be able to handle it just fine.
Well, just handling how we talk about those.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how
We'll
that works
figure it out.
We don't know quite yet. So we'll get there. We'll find out. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, there's a trailer. We saw some stuff. Some stuff, unfortunately. Some unfortunate stuff, but other stuff that looks interesting.
You knew it was going to be in there.
But still.
It had to.
Shouldn't have in the first place, but whatever.
Ship happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Wrong one, though. Completely wrong. But, yeah, it looks interesting. We'll see where they go.
Yep.
I would suspect they're longer shorts just because of the... seems like there's actual plots going on, not just music videos and stuff. Yes, I know.
It's like jumbo shrimp.
But I suspect they're not 3 or 4 minute ones. I suspect closer to 7 or 11 minutes.
Probably.
Because it looks like actual plots and stuff. Because you can't really do that unless they're super simple and the really short ones.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking like half length episodes.
Yeah. Or either half or third length. We'll see. Of course, we'll talk about them. Anyway, Friendship is Magic news. The movie is now sitting at, as of the recording, 16.9 million domestic and 11.1 million international.
Yes, as of recording, because last time, as of recording, it like doubled right afterwards.
I mean, I just checked this yesterday. It was at 16.5 yesterday. Now it's 16.9. So it has gone up in one day.
Yeah.
500,000 in one day.
I'm a little surprised at how quickly it jumped on the second weekend.
Yeah.
It just doubled on the second weekend.
That kind of retention is not very common.
Yeah.
Usually you get a pretty jump, like a 50% drop, and this one just kind of held steady.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it'll do it through this weekend.
You'll see. We'll find out. But
probably on Monday.
That's definitely worldwide. It's made over $28 million.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good for
that is pretty good.
Merchandise driven. It's way better than any of the other Hasbro movies beyond the live action Transformers.
Yeah.
Which those probably didn't deserve the success they got.
Yes, it's hard to say exactly how well the movie's doing because we don't know how much the budget was. They still haven't released an actual budget number.
Yeah.
So it's just pure speculation, but it seems to be doing okay.
Yeah. I guess now it's doing better than their previous animated theatrical movies that they've released.
Yeah.
It's definitely doing better than Jim.
Ouch.
Yeah, it also did better than the original Transformers movie. That did terrible.
Even with all the big names.
Yeah. Also, the My Little Pony movie back in 86 did terrible. If I recall, that one did slightly better than the Transformers movie. Just by literally a few $1,000s.
Wow.
G.I. Joe also did terrible. But anyway, yeah, so that's a lot better than their previous outings in the animated theatrical movies, and it seems to be holding pretty steady, so we'll see how that goes. I would suspect at this point they're pretty happy with his performance. Lionsgate, I'm probably understand, is pretty happy. Their previous stuff doesn't usually do this well, animated stuff anyway.
Yes, that's one of the other really big things here is if this does well, it's not just good for MLP, it's good for 2D animation in general.
I'm just talking about Lionsgate. When they release animated stuff, it never does this well.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good for lots of things if this movie does well.
Seems to be doing what
It seems to be doing.
I don't think anyone's actually expecting hundreds of millions of dollars. If anyone was, they're insane.
No,
the stuff that does that are the big Marvel movies and whatnot now.
Yeah, the huge budget ones.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
We'll probably have new numbers by release time.
Yeah, like I said, this is at recording, so there's a good chance it'll be slightly higher by the time we get to you guys hear it.
Yeah. They usually release updated weekend numbers on Mondays?
Somewhere on that, Mondays or Tuesdays.
So, yeah.
It is updating in real time, though, because, again, that number is different from when I checked it yesterday.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's the news.
That's it.
Yeah, I told you it was short. I'd like to talk about a comic, but we can't.
Because it's not here.
It's not here. It should be here, but it's not. Unfortunately, we'll hopefully get to next week. I'm a little worried because I'm looking at tracking numbers. Stuff's not moving right now. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. New episode to talk about, and it is Uncommon Bond. So to quickly summarize, Sunburst is coming to Ponyville. Starlight's very excited about this, and he shows up, and they're all excited about this stuff, and then they he takes her antiquing because that's something he's really interested in. She's like, what? And so they meet Twilight there, and she's super interested in antiquing, so he has something in common with her. And then later it's Starlight's still trying to prove they have something in common, and they meet up with Trixie, and how he finds up having something in common with Trixie, and then same with Maud. And Starlight's upset about this and tries to, force commonality and doesn't work very well. And then finally he's racking his brain trying to find something in common with her. And then they kind of play a giant board game they used to play as kids, and then everything's fine in the end.
Good summary.
Yeah.
Leaves out important bits that we can talk about later.
This is a odd episode for me. And I kind of enjoy it, but for reasons that different reasons.
But not for the reasons that you were intended to enjoy it
not for the reasons I'd like it just because I like seeing Starlight in pain.
Yeah, which is probably not a good thing. You should probably keep that in check.
Yeah,
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
It's German.
I know. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but I'm Germans. Anyway, Schadenfreude there. It is for me, just watching her, because finally, hey, you do stupid things and you pay for it. Finally.
It's...
yeah.
I've never been one that really enjoys... Well, you don't enjoy yeah. Saying you don't enjoy Schadenfreude is kind of a weird sentence in itself, but you get what I mean. I'm not really into that. I don't really find huge amount of enjoyment in others' pain. I mean, every now and then it's fun to watch someone get their comeuppance, but yeah, so I didn't quite have that same bit as you.
Right. The other thing about this was I like some of it, but there's some stuff that's just kind of like, I don't know, type of stuff.
It was a very middle of the ground episode. Yeah, this is
kind of an odd one. Just there's a lot of type stuff.
Starlight wasn't bad.
No, but she's just kind of... It just, again, for me, it just kind of shows, like, this is an episode kind of showcasing, like, why is Starlight such a terrible character? Here it is. Here it is.
What, because she's not relatable to anyone?
Well, it's not that. It's more along the lines of, I'm going to make really stupid decisions constantly. Like, bonehead. Also, it's kind of the weird thing about this is it kind of shows, like, Starlight's really clingy and can't let go of her past.
Starlight does have issues there.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the things they're trying to build on.
I know,
her.
it's kind of weird though. It's just kind of this whole... It's still kind of a weird way to build her character. It's just basically all because her friend moved away way back when she was a kid. It's just... it's just... That's the avenue they're still pursuing. It's just, let's build everything off of that. That's basically her whole world still revolves around Sunburst.
Yeah, in some ways, the episode and what she did here does make a little sense, considering that. It's,
But at the same time, it just comes across as weirdly, kind of almost disturbingly obsessive.
Maybe a bit. Yeah, it does make a bit of sense.
Particularly when we get to the point where she does expel just to turn them back into foals.
That is a bit weird.
That got weird, and Sunburst was like, I want no part of this. This is just odd. Because she's like, okay, that's cool. Then, okay, this is... I'm not into this, Starlight.
Yeah, it is a bit weird, but it also in a way makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's, Starlight's clingy to her past because that's really all she had. It's the source of everything for her. Everything came down to that one point. Her entire adult life was based around what she did because of that and because of him. So she's trying to relive that, bring it back to that point.
Yeah, I know that, but
so it makes sense in a way.
In a sense, in a way, but yes, it's still also odd. A person or a pony.
Yes, but that's actually a thing that happens. This is a thing that actually happens. So it's not that odd. It's not completely out of place in reality. Yeah, it's just
kind of, she honestly acts like an obsessive, clingy, jealous girlfriend.
Sort of, yeah.
Which is... I'm just remembering the meme with the wide-eyed girl.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I'm thinking of now. Just expecting Starlight to murder her friend because they're taking away Sunburst. The other thing was, regarding this stuff, I think also kind of shows generally, I think part of the reason why, I guess, kind of reveals a kind of part of why I don't like Starlight is her general immaturity.
And she hadn't had a lot of practice in being mature and making mature decisions.
It's not it's not like Pinky's kind of immature, but it's a fun immature. This is kind of the annoying immature.
Yeah, Starlight, even Twilight said it, has a tendency to overdo things.
Yeah.
And yeah, she has a tendency, one, to when she does something, she goes big, but she also kind of quickly gets to that point. And it's part of her character trait.
And that's their tendency to make very poor decisions, and while doing so, like when the Changeling Hive, hey, let's bring a monster to everyone's home. That's gonna go super great.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna make a spell just to turn myself and my best friend into a fold because I can't figure out new ways to connect with him.
Yeah, it is a tough situation. It really is. Yeah. When all you really knew about him is what you had back then.
Drink apple juice all the time. What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, but remember that's what her entire world revolved around. That's all she knows.
And it just kind of comes across as a little weird.
Yeah. I think really it's one of those. This does more slightly establish her character, but again, and it really focuses more on the. For
me, the problem is establishing her character,
and you don't like that part of her character.
Yeah, it's establishing her character, but not really making her interesting for me.
Yeah, but I think this is one of those.
They're taking their character.
They didn't do anything wrong
per se. No,
it's just I think at this point it's just personal preference on characters. Yeah. This is definitely one of those that there's nothing wrong if someone doesn't mind this, or if they can connect to this. I could see a lot of people actually connecting to this, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't think this is like a problem, like a story writing problem or anything like that. It's just not for us, for you, for me, kind of a thing. But for others, it could be.
They're fleshing out the character finally, and the problem is they're now taking the character direction I'm not really entertained by.
Yeah, but others are.
Yeah, I'm still not finding the character interesting. That's kind of, I've said it before, once you strip away all the actual writing problems, it's just she's not a very interesting character, and that's kind of still holding, or she's either not interesting, or she's just what they add to her just isn't very appealing
to you.
Yeah,
and I think this is one of those contrasts where it's not appealing to you, but it's not like every little thing she does where the added is really uncomfortable, probably on an objective level.
Yeah. It's kind of in some ways, I've said, I was thinking about this, and kind of some ways, now she's kind of starting to take on the same role as Spike in a sense that, not in the actual narrative perspective, but kind of in the more meta of, when they focus on her, she's not very entertaining, and when she's this, but unlike Spike thing is, with Spike, he's at his best when he's a supporting character.
Yes.
When they focus on him, it tends to go pretty bad with a couple notable exceptions. Starlight, they focus on her, it's kind of the opposite. They focus on her, it's kind of boring, but the only problem is when she's supporting, she doesn't really do much.
Or she does a lot that we don't want her to.
Yeah. Well, she's in a supporting role. She doesn't really do much of anything worthwhile per se. Whereas when she's main focus, they kind of do weird stuff with the character. I'm not really. It's that kind of thing. So it's kind of weird, just as it's just I'm still not really a fan of her, and at this point, I think if this is the direction they're taking the character, at this point, if this is the direction they're taking the character, there's no way I'm ever going to be really like her.
Yeah, but it's like if they continue building her character like that, just because we don't like her, it's still a perfectly valid character.
Yeah. I still prefer she just goes off wherever. I don't care. Beyond that, though, Sunburst is all right. Again, he's also another character. He never did anything wrong. He's just a character I've never been super interested in.
There's never been a huge amount about him, so there's nothing really established. Even
they're adding stuff to him here. It's just kind of
Yeah. He's never been a major.
I mean, one part I did appreciate was Twilight is a dork still.
Yeah,
again, it's great that they're finally going, oh yeah, she's more than a princess, right? It's been nice that's been doing that lately. So yeah, she's a dork and hanging out in an antique store.
Yes. There's a couple interesting tidbits, and I'm pretty sure the fandom are going to latch on, especially through the antiques or all the old stuff through there. There's an old map of Equestria. That's probably going to get used.
Yeah, old map, which was
apparently made by Earth ponies with no magic or Pegasi.
Yeah, and that's genuinely interesting. Starlight's like, oh, great, yeah. Yeah. It's like, that's actually genuinely interesting.
It is genuinely interesting. You know how difficult that is?
Yeah.
That's really not easy to do.
Oh, I almost forgot. The other thing, which is Starlight irresponsibility. Hey, I'm going to open this thing that which was potentially sealed, even though I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm that desperate to reconnect.
Right. Yes,
the mirror
they
pool.
went into the mirror pool,
Which
and
is like,
Starlight
I saw
broke
that one.
the seal.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's like...
Yeah. At least she did mention we shouldn't, and we aren't. Right at the end, she caught herself, but still.
That's not really catching herself. She notes that, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, no, at the very end, jumping into the pool.
Yeah.
There's like, and we could make copies of ourselves, but we won't. At the last minute, she went, but we won't.
I don't think it sounds like she's referring to, because we could catch up a whole bunch of a year's worth of catching up, but we probably won't. Oh, that seemed more like she saw how incredulous Sunburst looked and went, this probably... I'd love to see the scene where it's just like, I took him to the mirror pool. You did what?
Although, what happened next kind of goes, wait, you had a seal in the mirror pool, but Maud's tunnel just goes right to it, so the seal is completely pointless anyway.
Yeah. Then again, I would suspect Maud wouldn't be one who'd actually use it, or if she did, it'd be temporarily, and then, Imagine a huge just pile of mods. How fast they would dig that tunnel out. Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they do.
Then again, I'd also suspect Maud would be responsible. Even a clone Maud would be responsible enough to know that if we do too much, we're going to screw everything up.
With the right stone, you could rule the world.
Pretty well. They know rocks. Or she knows rocks.
Yes.
Well, it is kind of interesting. Yeah, again, she knows it's been connected there. She's clearly not been using it. So
yeah.
I think she's, again, more responsible than Pinky. I mean, she's not a rock druid after all.
I don't think anyone knew it would end up like that when Pinky did it.
It surprised me
but now
also
they
if Maud's
know.
tunnel just was connected because she's been digging for rocks and just kind of, she accidentally broke through and there's or she's like, there's a cavern in here.
No, because what they say later, they were pointing out, I knew this place had another exit. Yeah, so it's always been there.
But it was weird because we saw that cavern, tunnel, another cavern, and then another tunnel.
Yeah.
So it's possible she broke into that cavern and...
But then it wouldn't have explained why it was obvious that there was another exit.
Well, there was an exit to another cavern. Here we go, or another cavern which goes... No, oh boy. That's the thing about cave systems. Caves can be iffy.
Cavernous.
Just because you think it's going to go somewhere doesn't mean it's actually going to go anywhere.
I've been in some caves. I was actually in the ape caves
I've been in a couple of caves too.
I
was in Lacer Cave.
Yeah, I went through they call them the ape caves at... Mount St. Helens.
Trixie.
Oh boy.
This is just, I think I like this part just because it just shows she really is mediocre.
But it was funny. It was a good part.
It was funny, yes. And I kind of enjoyed it, but it just really shows even the one thing she's supposed to be good at, she's not particularly good at.
She's good at special effects, but she tries really... It's like this one of those, she doesn't really get it, sort of. It's weird. She is really good at
escape and I need assistance.
She's really good at special effects, but it's like she doesn't realize that's where she's specialty in, and she thinks she's really good in other ones.
I saw in the box oh look, the legs are kind of
obviously fake.
Yeah, and whatnot, or even the cards with the Sunburst was doing that one, but it says the cards just kind of.
Kind of didn't realize that it's already failed.
No.
Yeah.
Or the ball though. The ball in the cup. It's like, one, all three cups are different, so it's pretty obvious which one. And two,
you put a ball under each cup, so it doesn't matter. They're always going to win. You kind of screwed that one up there, Trixie.
Backwards. It's supposed to be like a secret little door that drops the ball in. And
the way I've seen it, it's all identical cups for one, but as you're swiping around, you bring them closer to the back. Yeah, you bring them close to the back, so then you kind of get a...
Yeah,
you bring them close to the back so it drops off the back without them seeing.
I've also seen the version where it's just a little
Sometimes
trap.
You can have a little trapdoor, but that usually you can see it in the table once they move the cups. It's like, hey, what's that?
Shut up.
There's a hole there. There's a door in that.
Yeah, so that was a thing. I think kind of a general problem I have with this episode, not a huge one, but it's kind of weird because it doesn't really resolve the issue, so to speak. It doesn't really resolve it. Just kind of like it almost feels like they kind of got to a point where I don't know.
I don't know. I got a different feeling off of that.
It's kind of weird because we get to the end. It's like, oh, okay, the board game thing is like that's all we got in common, I guess, is a board game, and like they kind of explained it away as like it's okay if you don't have anything in common, just as long as you're comfortable hanging out with each other. It's like, yeah, I guess, but
yeah, and that's sort of the whole lesson. I mean, it probably could have been a little stronger.
Yeah, it just kind of felt off because the whole thing was we have nothing in common, and
well, I think the whole lesson, I guess, if you want to have the moral of the story, is your friends and stuff will change over time, and you may lose commonality, but that doesn't mean you have to stop being friends.
Yeah.
Even if you lose the things you're common with. And that's really the lesson. That's what I got out of it, and that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Could have come around a little stronger, but I don't think it was just a massive flop. I don't think it was, we've had other ones that have kind of flopped.
It just kind of feels like it just fizzled out. It's like, okay, we're done. Because we don't even have a bit where Sunburst's like, I know what to do. And it's kind of,
we did. It was just off screen.
It's just like, oh yeah, it's now a thing that okay, yeah, he built this giant version of the board game, and weirdness there. It's just kind of like, okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, so every time he bids, that's what you're gonna do is, sure. I don't know. It just kind of comes off a little off.
Like I said, it was a little weak on it, but it wasn't a major flop.
Yeah, like I said, I never said it wasn't a major thing, but it's just kind of weird. Also, Sunburst is just as bad as Rarity. Pack everything.
Everything. It's just like, take the worst traits of Rarity and Twilight.
But why?
Pack everything. And then we also had another instance of the ponies don't normally wear clothes.
Yeah, that was weird too.
It's like, can you leave so I can change?
They've already done that joke way back, sort of, with Pinky, or not Pinky, Fluttershy and Dash.
They've made references to it. Like when Spike bursts in, like season 1.
But they did the specific kind of joke with the in bed thing, with Fluttershy's in bed and Dash goes and
and Dash just rips the covers off. And oh no!
Yeah, then Fluttershy gets all
and then Dash just glares at her.
That kind of makes sense, like really. But this is just kind of like no one even called out like
how weird that was.
That was the weird part. Was every other version we kind of
they lampshaded it.
Yeah, this one they just kind of like played it straight, which is like.
But why? Every other time you've always commented on it and made it a joke.
This time it's just kind of, it's a joke, but it goes in a different direction. Which, so he's just embarrassed because he's not wearing his cloak?
Yeah, because all he wears is a cloak.
And glasses.
But
it's just like, okay. Oh, fine.
I don't know, maybe you just wanted her to leave.
No, I think it's just one of those. I think that's one of the just kind of jokes that just I don't feel don't really land.
Yeah.
The other one is the thing with the board and getting excited. Just I felt that just kind of didn't really land very well because it's just like okay, marble drops. Throw the board with magic.
Yeah, that was.
It's like I think I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah, they're
but
trying
at the
to
same time, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
This idea that I get excited, so now I'm going to throw the board with my magic.
Yeah, it did feel kind of forced.
Yeah,
it's like you did that on purpose.
It's just trying to, I guess, force another weird connection between Sunburst and Twilight, and you already established that you can't do this over. At this point, it's kind of a weird overkill.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was just kind of a weird.
So those are two jokes I feel like didn't really land.
Yeah.
Other jokes landed. Again, the going back to Trixie just kind of sitting and shaking her head at every single wrong card. That kind of was just funny. Just kind of her expression never changes. Just kind of an innocent smile. Just
an innocent smile, not realizing the joke. The trick failed.
Actually, that sequence with both of them having failing tricks was pretty well, all things considered.
There was a lot of good sequences. Anything with Maud in it was great.
That was a joke.
That sequence.
Yeah, I'm also very funny.
That was just. Was that a joke? No.
Yeah, that was good right there. But also the hug was just like Maud just sitting there, and then nope, you're in the hug now. And it's like she's just kind of just kind of in the middle of like, yeah, I'll just suffer. I'll just suffer through this. And also the conductor kind of gives Starlight a look like, when does the noon train come?
Noon?
Just that was a good bit.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up. I think I forgot who wrote this one. There it is. It's written by Haber and Lappin. Kevin Lappin. He's written a couple episode or two before.
It was all right.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is, well, obviously at the end there's an very obvious
There's a very
tease,
obvious tease.
for the finale, which
We
is,
have
yes,
no
next week.
idea what happens, right?
No, it's fine.
Because that totally didn't leak out.
Yeah, we didn't see anything.
They
there's a
did
tease for the
drop that
finale.
one. It was
Pretty
Star
obvious
Swirl's
one.
book.
And also, it does tie in to that Legends of Magic comic, because he was on the train reading, and
It
then he
does.
freaks out and goes back to Ponyville because he found that book.
Yep.
So
Well, you'd
that-
be the first
so that,
to know.
I guess that comic issue takes place between these 2 episodes.
Yep.
There you go.
Although it makes me curious. That's Star Swirl's journal. That's Star Swirl's book.
Yeah.
But in season 3, Luna and Celestia had it. How the hell did it end up in a barrel?
Obviously, he had multiple journals.
That's kind of odd to have.
Well, one of them
multiple
was
journals.
obviously more looks like, I think the journal was more like, it looked like it was a collection of spells. This one is actual, this is what happened.
True. That could be it. That
And
could
Star Swirl
definitely
strikes
be it.
me as someone who'd probably keep those separate.
Possibly, but we don't know anything about who Starlight is. Starlight. We don't know anything about Star Swirl.
See how easy
These
it is?
names are hard.
Stop it! Just stop!
But yes, we have no idea what Star Swirl's personality is yet.
Sure.
So we can't talk about that yet.
But anyway, he probably was the kind of, considering he was one of the greatest magicians of all time, probably would have his stuff organized out like that.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Speaking of magic,
Speaking of magic, there was another bit.
there's a spell she did with the
She
writing.
wrote a new spell
Yeah, okay, fine.
on paper in order to take kind of the back in time thing. 'Cause it
Basically, she
wasn't-
did the holodeck.
Yeah, basically she made a holodeck. I like that. It's a magical holodeck. There's an interesting. She wrote it in paper.
Yes.
Wrote the spell out in paper,
And then zaps the paper.
and then zaps it with magic.
And then that activates it.
And that, this is the second time we've seen this.
Yeah.
The other time was with her modification of Star Swirl's time spell.
Yeah. That's weird. It's
But
one
it
of
is
those-
interesting
It's a spell
on
that
how she
requires the
acted it.
paper to work.
Yeah, because we've seen all of these spells have all been on paper before, but they read it and then they perform it. So
Yeah,
it's like an
or-
instruction.
Or in some cases, it's been the actual reading of the spell is what casts it.
which is also weird.
Yeah.
So, but now this one, the
And then, of
paper
course, there's the
is
whole
the
thing with
spell.
emotions. Remember that?
No, I am happy to just completely ignore that ever happened.
Yeah. It's not great. This one's kind of established. I mean,
But
there's
yeah,
also the
it's-
thing way back in season 2, sort of, with the original version of Star Swirl's time spell. Sort of, it was on paper, and
It was
like
on- yeah, that
somehow
was
limited to one cast.
That was like an incantation almost.
Although
It
that was
was-
why it didn't actually. She was holding. I remember she was holding on to the paper, and then she did the time spell, and then
Oh, the original time spell. Yeah, that was more like, reading the instructions and then performing
yeah.
it.
So that it's kind of
Like
a
we've
weird
seen
thing.
in a lot
I'm
of
gonna-
other ones. But yeah, this one is weird that it's
It's like, almost like
activated by
Haber's trying to
zapping.
change the rules.
Zapping the page.
Yeah, it's like Haber's trying to change the rules again.
Which, I mean, it's sort of like in a lot of other things that use magic, scrolls.
Yeah,
Scroll-based spells, anyone can perform them, but it consumes the scroll.
yeah.
I guess that's sort of like this. Like, if you play the Elder Scrolls games,
Yeah.
that's how those work.
Yeah, although this doesn't consume the scroll.
This
that's a
doesn't
weird
consume the
thing.
scroll. But the scroll is, the physical scroll is important
Is
part of the magic.
The central part of the magic.
Which
spell,
is
so
weird,
it's like,
because she just wrote it on a piece of parchment.
yeah, so, but I guess,
But I don't know, we never actually see it.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many different little headcanony things that you could take. Is there different kinds of magic?
I mean, people still
would
try to do the whole ley line thing.
I actually kind of like the ley line
I don't, just
option.
because it's kind of the inherent limitations there.
Maybe. Well, depends on how you define ley lines.
Yeah, I know. But I've noticed a lot of people try to do this whole limitation thing, try to use it to
Yeah,
limit.
Little Witch Academia uses ley lines
Yeah.
as a required
I'm talking about
important.
like pony fiction, in particular MLP fan fiction. It's like sometimes I try to use it, and sometimes it's like the ley lines work in some scenarios, like LWA, but I think in MLP it doesn't really work as well. Just because
Yeah,
of
I
the inherent
mean-
nature of the magic we've seen in the show.
Well, the magic does change. LWA uses it as a requirement.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be at a ley line in order to perform magic, because you have to draw power out of a ley
I know.
line.
But here,
I like the idea
because-
that it's just an extra source.
Yeah.
where it's not a requirement.
Yeah, it's just, I feel just, it kind of like, I just don't like ley lines and the MLP stuff.
We
I
haven't
like other
seen any
places.
evidence of them, so
I just don't like the idea of it, so I just kind of go, okay,
I like
fine.
the general concept, but we haven't ever seen it in MLP.
I just don't like it in MLP. I think other things, again, LW works pretty well. Just
Yeah. One of the other things, like with magic, we have this idea of reading it and performing it and then using the thing. Is there like magical like symbols? We've seen a little bit of that, like in Twilight's imagination with Starlight and Sunburst, with the transmutation circle.
Yeah.
So we've seen in it sort of instances, but not real instances, but we've seen it there. So I could see like if this was like symbolic magic, that you would need the symbol. So that she wrote like the symbolic magic on the parchment, because we didn't actually see what she wrote.
Yeah, it's just squiggly lines.
Yeah, so
as per usual,
it could be something like that. In which case, I could see the symbols being physically important.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing that they've added.
I would like to see more consistency.
I think it's just,
but I don't think we ever will.
The thing of Haber of just he adds cool lore stuff or whatever, but at the same time also muddies other lore, and it's not that part's not appreciated.
To be fair, magic has been muddy from season 1.
But he makes it extra muddy, and when
it doesn't
really
help.
Need to be. If she just said, "I created a spell" and then just cast it, that'd be easier because like we've seen that already. Whereas
but doesn't
she
look
wrote it
as
down,
cool.
It makes it weird because it kind of. It's like, okay, why do we have a different way of performing magic for no apparent reason?
I don't know. One other thing to point out in that one scene, I've already seen little bits of this pop up, at least one instance. They're saying it was an age spell.
I would say it's an illusionary spell.
A while back in Magic Duel, we were told that age spells are incredibly difficult, which is why Twilight had to fake it during that episode, because she couldn't actually perform an age spell. This is not an age spell. This is just basically a giant illusion.
Yeah, holodeck.
So it's not an age spell.
Yeah, this feels more like this is more illusionary, if anything.
Yes, this is very much it's one hell of an illusion, but it's an illusion nonetheless. They didn't actually regress in age.
No.
It wasn't actually time travel. It was an illusion.
That's my thing. I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So, beyond that, though...
Some cool scenes, some neat things here and there, but overall, middle of the ground episode for me.
Yeah, then some shippers are going to be kind of...
Ship happens.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. It's an alright. There's a lot to like about it, but there's also a lot to dislike about it. There's just a couple weird spots here and there, too. Yeah. It's just an alright episode that more or less... I guess its real purpose is kind of serve to introduce the finale. Although, even that's only a few seconds at the end.
It's really all going to be subjective on that one, really.
It's just a very
if you like Starlight, you're going to like the episode.
Yeah, I guess. Even then, I don't know. I can't predict how a Starlight fan will react because I'm not one.
Yeah. I'm not other people. I can only say what works for me.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just an alright, just kind of I might be, I don't know, at the end we'll see, but it might be for me kind of low at the towards the end of the list. I'll have to
we'll find out when we figure that out.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we should go ahead and move on.
Yes, we have other things to talk about.
Yes, we actually have 2 songs.
Yes, I picked 2 songs to feature this week. The first one is Philly in the Box Into the Rain, remixed by Skyrunner. This is a heavy D&B remix, and heavy not as in like heavy hitting, hard hitting, like rapid hard sounds. Heavy as in that bass drone. It just feels weighty to it. But I think it's really cool. I love that bass drone, and I like how it drops into this heavy bass with the D&B, but then gives it a break, so it's not just like all the time. And I really like the breaks with the rain, like in the intro and midpoints, you get the light and the little rain effects.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done. Good use of the original with definitely making it their own. Definitely sounds different from the original.
Yeah.
Good job.
I like the intro. It has a very sharp sound, not music sharp, but it's hard to describe. It's kind of that, there's an edge to it.
Yeah, it has an edge.
I'm not saying sharp as in...
It's not pitched higher than the... Yeah.
That's what I'm... Yeah, I had to clarify that. Also, considering the name and the tone of the song, it actually kind of makes me think of a desert oasis.
Into the Rain?
Yeah, because the tone of the song kind of show, because they know, in a sense. So, it's kind of weird. It does rain in the desert.
Yeah.
It kind of disappears very quickly, but it does rain.
It does rain.
So I kind of think of that. It's like, oh, hey, relief. Because but yeah, it's also kind of a low key but driving song in some ways. So it's not super intense, but does have that kind of hardness you were talking about. Yeah. And I also like the background rain stuff too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. The second one I've got is Violet Pony's Comets. It's a really nice and mellow improv piece. Mm-hmm. It's not Violet's usual fare. Mm-hmm. Tends to do more electronic, kind of upbeat stuff, but this is a very mellow, piano mainly piece. Like I said, it's improv. Apparently, he improv'd it and did it in like 2 hours. Did a really good job on that. Really well done. I love the build at the end when they start introducing more instruments, especially like the strings and such come in there at the end and builds up to the crescendo, I guess.
Right.
Really, really well done.
Yeah. There's a bit that reminds me, especially in the beginning, reminds me a bit of Steven Universe's Love Like You. That song that was playing over the end credits for a while. Yeah.
Well, this is apparently intended to be a love song.
Yeah. It's kind of reminding me of that particular kind of song. In fact, there's that. So there's a little bit similar. And I'm not saying that, but it's just this kind of that, it's reminiscent of it. So it's very soft and gentle.
It is.
Yeah. And yes, it does have a very romantic feel to it. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good one.
It is. It's good. And that's the two I've got this week.
Yep. All right. Fanfics. Quite a bit to go through actually here. Oh, surprisingly amount. Okay, so updates. Yes, there are two fics updated. Worst of All Possible Worlds updated with 5 chapters.
5?
Yes, over the course of the last few days. It's starting the 3rd arc. The Nightmare Moon arc.
Yes.
In which Nightmare Moon stuff, the Nightmare World may not be totally completely bad, but still things are kind of bad type weird stuff, if that makes sense. It's not as bad as you might expect, but still there's some not
but it's
great
definitely
elements.
Not great.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's like we can see kind of shades of, I guess, Luna still within Nightmare Moon there. And so it's like kind of that interesting that we're again seeing more of the main 6 or their alternate versions. This is where also Sunset's trying to figure out possibly when time is being manipulated, or I guess getting closer to it, because she's noticing differences. Like, for instance, Dash is a bit shorter.
Differences and not differences.
Yeah, like Dash is a bit like physical difference. Like Dash is a bit shorter. Fluttershy has a gap in her teeth.
Yep,
which wasn't there in other worlds. Which is yeah, that stuff.
And now she has a calendar.
So it's kind of interesting that.
Yeah.
Very.
And the last update really started introducing some things.
Yeah, and Sunset actually just casually talking to Nightmare Moon.
Oh, not even just with that last update, not even casually. It's just like
outright calling her out.
Yeah,
and Nightmare Moon not killing her.
They've set up a sort of thing where she can get away with it.
Yeah, because Nightmare Moon's like, elements, I could use those.
Not without me.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that one.
Yes, it's getting good.
And the other thing that updated was a Second Chance as a redemption story. If you remember, this is the one with more specifically focusing on Dagio, and she's going to Crystal Prep with her sisters. anyway, it's this kind of adagio, well, kind of still cruising along, not really wanting to do stuff, but kind of being goaded into going to Arya's basketball game.
Yep.
And finding out maybe things aren't so bad.
But still dealing with things.
Yeah, still dealing with stuff. The author is teasing that big things coming up soon. And also, hey, yeah, I know it took a while to update, but hey, it shouldn't be
dead.
It shouldn't be as long next time. So, yeah, it's kind of this feels more like setting up for future.
Yeah, definitely a setup chapter. Chapter. That's the word.
That's the word. So yeah, it's still chugging along. We'll see where it goes. I'm still rooting for one particular ship.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah. And so that's the updates. Featured though. I do have one featured.
I have a featured one.
Yeah. It's called Unlikely Duet by GaraTheAuthor, or GaraTheAuthor, in which Dash is saddled with Sonata in a class project, and Dash is not like this for various reasons. And then, well, over the course of the fic, kind of connects to Sonata and actually befriends her, and also finds out that Sonata is having a bit of trouble.
Trouble.
Yes, we shall say it that way.
Yeah.
And Dash tries to help. So it's kind of interesting just kind of seeing that Dash's personal evolution going from I want nothing to do with her to genuinely befriending her. So it's kind of a very Dash thing to do, just the general I don't trust you. So I found that very interesting. Overall, kind of handling some of the issues is pretty good, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely an interesting read. I'll agree with you on what you just said about Dash there. It does seem very much like her on how she did things. I think Dash was very in character.
Yeah.
I'm not certain on Sonata. Sonata's personality is very different here than what we've seen in the movies.
Yeah, but they do.
It does reveal some really interesting things I liked about Sonata. Yeah. I liked what they did, but I'm not certain it was exactly within character.
Although there was a bit that kind of might have vaguely explained away that.
Yeah, I mean, it felt out of character, but not bad either. It was kind of interesting in that point. I liked it.
There was a bit that explained kind of possibly why Sonata acted differently here than she did in the movie. It's just a little bit regarding basically the gem and the siren powers and everything. Yeah, it's a little vague.
A little bit, but I mean, when we see her in the movie, she was kind of airheaded. Yeah, kind of a ditz, and here she
seems more competent.
Yeah, she was level-headed, competent character.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Again, I think there's a vague explanation.
Yeah, I like the character. Yeah. The ending, I liked how they. I mostly like how they handled the trouble.
Yeah, the trouble. We're trying not to reveal it.
I don't want to spoil things, though. I do think the resolution was a little quick.
Yeah,
and slightly unrealistic.
Yeah,
sometimes that resolution works, but majority of the time, no. Yeah, definitely not that easy.
Yeah, it does feel like should be more to it, and I would like to see more.
Yeah,
expanded on this, because I feel like there could be a little bit more expansion on what happened at the end, particularly, and
yeah, there was a really good lead-in for that story, and I think it could have lasted a little longer on that to actually delve into that. If it's a tough one though, because it's one of those things that
could also kill the pacing of the narrative.
Well, you could kill the pacing, but just the topic.
Yeah,
it's one of those that you don't want to do wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to linger on it too long either.
You don't want to linger on it too long, but you don't want to go for it and then do it wrong.
Yeah, because that will go very poorly.
Yeah, because of what the topic is.
Yeah. So it's a bit heavier. There is a spoiler in the summary if you want to know what it is. If you want to know what's going on, you can see a spoiler, and if you see that spoiler and don't like it, I understand. But I will say, if you check out the story, definitely look at the spoiler tag
in the description.
If you want to, just know it is a pretty heavy subject.
Yeah,
there's a understand if that kind of chases you away, because it is something that some people are not going to want to.
There's a trigger warning.
Yeah, so some people just not want to deal with it, and I understand that.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, so just be aware of it and just look and check. But I found it kind of interesting overall.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the episode. With that, we're done.
Yay.
If you enjoyed it, I want to check out past and future episodes. You can go to pony411.libsyn.com. And again, it's spelled Libsyn. All the episodes are there. You can subscribe to the RSS feed and whatnot. You can also go to youtube.com/pony411 and like, comment, subscribe there. Check out the episodes as they come out. Reviews and whatnot are there too. Hopefully a new one will be coming out this week if things don't go very badly. I have it recorded. It's just not edited yet. There's also Stitcher.com. Search for Pony411 there. iOS or Android apps as well. There's also iTunes. Again, search for Pony411 and rate and review and subscribe as you want to do. And Google Play. This play.google.com/music. You have to go there and search for Pony411 or else it won't work. It'll just say there's nothing there.
It just still doesn't
It's a dumb
make sense
system.
to me.
It's a dumb system. It really needs to be improved. There's also ponyvillelive.com. It's up. We have a show up there. It's this YouTube link. There's also other podcasts and radio stations. And one of those radio stations is, of course, Ponyville FM, where we air every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
So tune in.
And also tune in for, DJs and music and whatnot.
Yes, there's good music there.
But if you want to contact us, you could do so via email, pony411podcast@gmail.com. Questions, comments, criticisms, news tips, whatever. Say why, why about this episode? What do you think about Uncommon Bond? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Why not? Whatever, all that stuff. You can also contact us via facebook.com/pony411. Like us there. Also, new episodes do appear there as they come out. And of course, we're on Twitter @pony411. Again, new episodes and general nonsense and whatever. Retweets, all that stuff.
Tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong.
Exactly.
Just tell us something.
Just tell us things.
Make sure we're not shouting to the void.
Also, our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Alca7raz with 77T and an _ at the end. Again, I've gotten new toys.
I can't remember what I've been tweeting.
Stuff.
I tweeted something earlier this week, and I don't even remember what it was.
Womp womp. Yeah. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
So that's that. And that is that for this episode. Join us next time in episode 203. We will be talking about the season finale, Shadow Play.
It's gonna be a good one, I think.
Yes, you think.
We have things to talk about.
Definitely have things. Might be some actual overlap from this discussion this episode. Oh dear.
Maybe. I don't know. We haven't said it yet.
Yeah. Anyway, until then, though, as always, please pony responsibly.
See ya.
Goodbye.